Hello, everyone. Hola, mundo. Welcome to Voces Poderosas 2025, where Latino brilliance takes center stage. I'm Jackie Bouvier, honored to continue this movement, celebrating the nation's most powerful voices, shaping our culture, business, and the future. Voces Poderosas is a transformative shortcast spotlighting pioneers and catalysts whose wisdom fuels success and personal empowerment. More than a podcast in shortcast form, it's a national stage honoring Latino excellence and amplifying the voices that move markets, shape culture, and define our time. Today, I'm excited. We are joined by Rodolfo Artiles, Managing Director at Cornerstone International Group, a bilingual executive search and leadership consultant known for connecting top talent and driving organizational growth all across the United States Hispanic market. Welcome, Rodolfo. Gracias por estar con Voces Poderosas. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you very much, Jackie. It's a pleasure. I'm honored and humbled to be here. I really appreciate your invitation.
Thank you. I'd love to hear about your story. Tell us about the path that shaped who you are today. Tell us how you got to the position you're in now. For all of our audience out there looking for that same inspiration to, how did your heritage influence your drive and open the unexpected doors?
Yeah, well, the answer to that question is very long, but I'm going to try to summarize it probably in a couple of minutes. I was born in Nicaragua. I grew up there until I was 19, 20 years old, and I had to leave the country because of political reasons. There was a communist socialist revolution in 1979, so I had to leave for Guatemala. Um, I basically landed in Guatemala without any money, but a lot of desire and willingness to be someone. Um, During my time in Nicaragua, when I was being raised by my parents, I remember my parents instilling in me the desire to be bigger, to do something really larger than me, and a big project. And I remember them telling me about the United States and the big opportunities that this country can provide. And I remember that, and I tried to set my goal to come to this country to study, and I started looking for scholarship in Guatemala. Even though I wasn't a citizen of the country, but I got a scholarship by the Organization of American States. So I came here in 1987 to get my master's degree, then went back to Latin America, and then in 1999, I came back to the US because I got married for the second time. So 4 months later, I got hired by one of the Fortune 500 companies, um, and that took me for a 26 years tour, uh, living in 6 different countries, working in more than 40 and in 3 continents. I would say that ride was like the common denominator of those experiences. I would say, first of all, was my clarity of goals. I was completely sure what I wanted to do in life in terms of my professional ambitions. I would say the other one would be like the resilience of pursuing that goal and working towards it. And the other one would be the ability to adapt to different cultures, different countries, different situations, different challenges. So in just putting all those things together, I would say that's the type of leader I am. That's the type of person I came to be.
Wow, that's phenomenal. That's amazing. A Nicaragua, yo soy salvadoreña. Y
We're
Guatemala.
neighbors. Yeah,
Guatemala, neighbors. That's great. What a
yeah.
story. I think, and just having had this journey, right, in this story, I think you have a lot to share for our generation out there and our upcoming, right, generation. But what opportunities or challenges are you seeing for our Latino professionals right now from your experience?
Well, in terms of, I see opportunities and challenges, obviously. In terms of opportunities, I think it's important to provide a little bit of context. I mean, right now, Latinos, we are the fastest growing workforce and consumer base in the United States. Just to give you some numbers, we represent about a $4 trillion in purchasing power. If you see Latinos, and if we make an analogy of Latinos being a country, we would be like the fifth economy of the world. Only the US, China, Germany, and Japan would be larger than us. So in terms of economic power, that's huge, you know. And when you see the future, it's even brighter because the economic growth of this country in the future is going to come mainly for multicultural sources, especially Latinos. Now companies are starting to realize that and starting to hire Latino people so they can really understand a little bit better how we think, how we behave, what are our values, so they can connect better with that group, no, in terms of the products and services they want to sell. So at the end, we are really hardworking people, bilingual, bicultural. We have been living in this country probably for a long time, and we bring a lot of different perspectives and different opinions and positions that I think companies are going to need that for the future. So that's the opportunity, that's the plus side. Then when you see challenges, I think we are still underrepresented, not only in senior executive positions, but in CEOs, board positions, board middle management positions. Even though we represent about 20% of of the population of the United States, we're still between 3 and 4% representation in those areas or those functions and levels. So there is a long way to go. And we are facing a lot of barriers in terms of sponsorship, mentorship opportunities, so we can really go and grow and occupy those positions. The other thing that I see in Latinos as a challenge is our cultural heritage in some way. We are very hardworking people, but at the same time, we are humble. We are in some way we're not pretentious, we're not arrogant people. So in that way, we don't behave aggressively to probably fight for those positions and those roles. We need to be more of that. We need to be more aggressive. We need to fight for things because nobody's going to give us anything.
That's great you say that because the next question is what bold moves can we make, right? How do we become that an undeniable leadership force in this coming decade? And I think it's a powerful thing you say because a lot of times we hold back from opportunities because we're
Yeah,
not bold enough, right? So what advice would you
absolutely.
give to us? What would you say?
I would say, on a personal level, I think there are a couple of things that we can do. First of all, we need to be more self-confidence. We need to be more aware.
Mhm.
Why do I say this? Because sometimes we don't believe in ourselves. We have to
Yeah.
believe that we can. We need to understand how important we are. That's a part of awareness that we need to understand. I mean, we are a force. Uh, the numbers that I just gave you, it's a power. Those are powerful numbers. I mean, we're gonna be the main character of this movie now and in the future. So we need to believe in ourselves. That would be like the first thing that I would tell my Latino people. Uh, let's assume the role that we have today and that we're going to have in the future. From the community standpoint, I would say we need to build more or stronger ecosystems. Platforms like mentoring platforms are examples of this type of thing, like entrepreneurial kind of platform where they promote that entrepreneurial spirit. They provide resources. They provide different support systems for Latinos and some other people to start companies. I personally am mentor of two of those two platforms, and I have seen so many success stories that is unbelievable. And from the corporate side, also there's this third dimension, which is I don't believe in diversity quotas or equal opportunity by outcome. I believe in equal opportunity by access. So I'm not expecting anyone to to open the door for me or to give me something. I'm going to step put my foot on the door, and I'm going to open the door by myself. So we need to do that. We cannot expect corporate America to open the door for us, to give us the opportunity just because they want to, meet certain quota of diversity. Let's go and make that number. And from the policy standpoint, I would say we need to work with our state representatives. We need to work with different type of organizations, so we can, have our voice heard in some way.
Well, what a powerful thing that you share because, corporate America is, has their every Latino is looking up corporate America at this point, right? And
Yeah.
everything that's being changed, if you will, now that there's been a chance provided for them to do so. And so I agree with you 100%. I think that's a great way to look at it. And so, I just want to ask you one more thing. What advice in terms of like empowerment or something that you've always carried with you that you're like, this is what drives me. This is what motivates me. This is why I keep going. Because a lot of times the alignment is what's missing. We keep continuing to move forward, but the purpose alignment of our why sometimes is missing. And so a lot of times people ask, how do you guys keep going? How do all these people you interview, Jackie, continue to go and not give up, right? What would be your why or your alignment?
Yeah, I think it has to do, obviously, purpose is very important thing to have these days. I have my purpose that I worked probably about 10 years ago that has to do with humility, humbleness, and I want to be, grateful for the things that I have. Basically it's a triangle, and I have those three things, located in each one of the angles, and they have a purpose for being there. That's something that I've developed myself, but I mean, each one of us has to develop his own or her own. But I think a very important thing for us Latinos to have is we need to believe what we want to be. And this is something that my father told me once, and it stayed with me forever. He said, if you want to be a doctor, behave like a doctor since the first day. I mean, you go to
Wow.
medical school, the first day you go into medical school, you become a doctor. Behave like a doctor. And that, changed my mind completely. So if we are Latinos here today, you are a college student, you are someone that is starting your career, and you want to be somebody, behave like somebody, like that's somebody that you want to be. Because that in that way, you make a lot of things happen.
I love it. I love it. I think that's one of the best advices I've heard. Bless your father for telling you that. I think that's great. It
Thank
reminds me
you.
of dress like the position that you want to be in. That is
Yeah.
amazing. Rodolfo, it's been true blessing having you here. Thank you so much for being on Voces Poderosas. Thank you for
Thank
taking
you.
time out of your busy day, and thank you for making such a difference.
No, thank you very much for your invitation. It was a pleasure. Thank you.